Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video I will show you how you can use iCLoudKit for your native iOS application to perform CRUD operation. So if you don't know what iCLoudKit is, basically it uses the user's iCloud. This is only works on Apple platforms. And the second important thing is you don't have to maintain the iCloud database. Apple will manage it for you. It has a generous free tier, so I'm using the free tier. Previously Apple used to provide the iCloud pricing as well, like if your app has this many users, then it can use up to this much GB of data. Like I tried searching for it, I couldn't really find it. That's the one thing. If you know where it is, do let me know in the comments. And the second thing is you will require a paid Apple developer account to use this particular feature. That means you need to pay Apple $99 to use this feature. Thankfully I'm using my friend's account, let's see how to do this. So first, like I told you, you need to pay Apple $99 for this. Once you are done with that, I have created a native iOS application. I'm using UIKit, but if you want you can use Swift UI as well. The logic will remain the same. Then the next thing is you just have to go to your application, and the first important thing inside sign in and capabilities, what you will have to do is you will just have to click on this plus capability button and just search for iCloud and enter. So here it will take little bit of time for provisioning. In the meantime, what I will do, I'll just copy this bundle identifier of my application. Okay, once this is done, you just have to check all this checkbox which are there. Once you have checked, we just have to wait for this updating provisioning to finish. And also the another thing is we have to create our container. So like I told you, I will just copy my bundle identifier and I will just click on this plus button which we have, and here you can just name it as iCloud dot whatever is your bundle identifier. Just remove the space in case if there is any space and just click on OK. Now again this will update all the provisioning, so let it do its update provisioning. Now I've just created one sample project from which I will just copy some code and then I'll explain it to you. So I'll just copy everything and I will just paste inside my view controller. I will explain it to you, don't worry too much about it. And then I also require this checkbox table view cell. I will just create one more Swift file, right click, and I'll paste it over here, and I will again copy it and paste it. Okay, so coming to our view controller, so firstly you will have to import CloudKit. Now I will be also one more thing, I will just add navigation controller to our storyboard as well, because I am displaying a plus button at the very top of our navigation, and whenever the user clicks on it, I am displaying an alert controller to the user that saying that you can add whatever you feel like. Once the user adds something, then we are displaying that item inside our table view. So I will just come inside our storyboard. I will just click on this. I'll go to editor, embed in navigation controller. So this is just for so that our plus button is visible. Now if I go to view controller again, here you can see we are extending UI table view data source as well as delegate, because I'm using UI table view to display list of items the user has added. Then I'm initializing our table view cell. Now what identifier each cell of our table view have, that is over here. This CK record is from CloudKit. Typically whenever suppose I want to display an array of string data inside our table view, so I would have array of string over here, right? In CloudKit we get the data in the form of CK record. That's why I have created this item records of CK record. Now again whatever container name you have given, so I'll just copy that and we have to paste it over here. So iCloud dot whatever is my bundle identifier. Don't use my bundle identifier, it will not work for you. So I and C is capital. Okay, so make sure whatever container you have created for your application, make sure you add it over here. Now there are three type of database: public database, private database, and shared database. If it is private, then user won't be able to see each other data. So suppose I am so this is the app which I have created. If user A is adding some items inside my database, then user B also can see it, as long as this is a public cloud database. If you want to make it private, you just have to write something like this. Then items created by user A will not be visible to items created by user B. So that's how simple it is. We also have this CLOUDKit console, which I will show you at the very end. Then give some your database name. So I have just given it as grocery item. You can name it whatever you feel like. Then I have given it a field name as well. Give a field name as to do title. Again, feel free to give whatever. You can have multiple fields as well, but just for simplicity I have created only one field name. Then here I have just given title to our navigation bar. Then here I am just setting the delegate as well as data source of our table view. Then sometimes I have created this refresh control for our table view as well. Sometimes what happens is that whenever I add an item to our iCloud, it takes a little bit of time to reflect inside our table view. Like the timing is not fixed. Sometimes it gets synced pretty fast. Sometimes I have added an artificial delay of 2 seconds as well. Even after that it doesn't automatically sync. So I have given the user a choice of pull to refresh. In case if they are not able to see the item, they can pull to refresh it. Also another thing which I want to talk about this public cloud database is, suppose a user A has created an item, then user B does not have the even though user B can see the item which user A has created, user B cannot delete or update user A's item. He can only delete or update his own items. So be careful with that. So here we are creating our refresh controller, and once the refresh is pressed, like pull to refresh is done, we are calling this particular method, and here I'm just assigning the refresh control to our table view. Then here we just do table view dot register, and this is the cell which I have created. So quickly show you the cell, how each cell of our table view looks like. So I'm just taking this UI label. This checkbox is pretty much redundant, so I will just remove it. This is not really necessary. I will just remove this as well, because when I swipe to delete from the left hand side, I am providing the update and delete option. So this is pretty much useless. So I'll just delete all this code for checkbox. Okay, so here you can see this is how our cell of table view looks like. I have just taken one UI label, and this is the mandatory boilerplate code which you have to write, and inside the init state we are adding our UI label to our content view, and here we are just doing some NS layout constraints on top of it. That's it. Kept it pretty simple. Then coming back to our view controller again, we are passing our cell identifier as well, which we have defined at the top. Then here we just set a right bar button to our navigation item, and then add our table view to our parent view. Then do some NS layout constraints for our table view, and then we call fetch items. Now fetch items is called as soon as you either add an item, or if the user do pull to refresh, or if the user has loaded our app for the very first time. So firstly yeah, here we just do begin refreshing, and at the end we just do end refreshing over here. So here we create a CK query, we pass our DB name, and predicate I have kept it as true. Then we just fetch our items from our query. In zone width I have kept it as null. Desired keys, I only want the field name which I have defined over here. I'm not interested in any other stuff, but if you have multiple field name, you can pass them comma separated. Then result limit I have kept it as maximum results, and in case of success we just do a compat map, because the results have lot of other unnecessary data as well. And once we have the required data, we just return it and assign it to our item records. In case of failure, I assign it as nil, and once whether it was success or failure, I just reload our table view and stop refreshing our table view in case if the user has done pull to refresh. And here we have added this did tap add as well. So if you see over here, we were referencing because I have added one button to our navigation item as well. So on click of it, we just display this UI alert controller which have a text field inside it, and we have added two action. One is the cancel action and one is the add action. And here we just get whatever the user has typed inside that text field, and then call save item, and then just here we are just presenting the alert. So once this save item is called, we just whatever DB name we have, we again create a record of it, and whatever the user has passed inside the text field, we just set value for it for this particular key, and then we just save it to our database. And here you can see I have added an artificial delay of 2 seconds because iCloud doesn't sync sometimes sometimes it doesn't sync quickly, so that's why I've added artificial delay. Even after artificial delay sometimes it doesn't really work, that's why I've added pull to refresh. And here we are just doing fetch items again. Then we are just overriding few of the methods of our table view, item records.count, and here we just do recue reusable cell with identifier and passing our cell. And in case if it didn't find anything, we just replace UI table view cell. If it finds anything, then we just fetch particular item for that particular row and then display it inside the cell label text. And here this is how we are displaying it. And this is for swiping action. So I have 2 swipe action, one for delete and one for update. So this is for delete one. So whatever item has been swiped, we first get that item, then we just do self.database.delete, pass the record ID of that particular item which has been swapped. And once that is done successfully, if there are no errors, we again reload delete it from our table view as well and remove it from our array as well. Okay, similarly for update action as well. So this is our update action. We find the particular item which the user is trying to update. We display an alert text field to replace the updated item with what you want to update. And then we just add this cancel as well as save button over here. And here we have this alert.text field first. Okay, and whatever the user has typed, we just replace the older one with the newer one. And again we call self.database.save, and again we just, once it is successful, I just update the item, a particular item inside our array, and reload that particular row as well. This is more efficient. Instead you can apply same logic over here as well for refreshing, for fetching items. Here I'm reloading the entire table view. That could be sometimes performance it could lead to performance issue, but I think this is a better approach of reloading a particular row only. But yeah, it's up to you how you want to do it. Okay, again now this we don't want because we have removed the checkbox, so I'll just remove this particular thing as well. Okay, so I think that's it. And I have given some colors to our delete and update action as well, and then we are just returning our configuration. Then the next thing which I told you previously, you will have to go to iCloud.developer.apple.com. You will have to sign in with your Apple ID, and then you will see this CLOUDKit database. You just have to click on this. Once that is done, make sure you come over here and select the container which you have created inside our application. So for me it was iCloud.myBundleIdentifier. So make sure you click on this drop down and select it. I have already selected it. Now the important thing which we have to do is here it depends now whether you are using a public database or a private database. I think I am using a public database, right? So yeah, it is a public cloud database. So here you keep it as public database. Record type, okay, it hasn't created any record type yet. Let's go to indexes. Click on add index. Okay, it is still not showing. This users is by default. We need to add a queryable to our field. I think this is only possible if we add at least one item, because you won't be able to fetch your items if you don't mark it as queryable. And unfortunately this field cannot be marked queryable from code. I have tried looking into it. It can be only marked queryable from our CLOUDKit console only. So what I will do is I'll quickly run this application first. I will try to add one item. Once the item is added, when it tries to fetch, it will throw an error to me saying that this particular field has not been marked as queryable. Then we'll have to again go to our CLOUDKit console and then make it as queryable. Yeah, I know this is really a bad approach, but I couldn't really find anything, any alternative solution to this. So let's just wait for this application to build, and then I'll come back again. As you can see, as soon as I ran my application, we are trying to fetch items from our CLOUDKit database, right? And here it is telling me that error fetching item did not find record type grocery item. I will quickly go again to our CLOUDKit console and check whether this grocery item database is at least available or not. Okay, so I'm inside my CLOUDKit console. Make sure you refresh it again just to be on the safer side. I haven't added any item to our CLOUDKit database yet, and then just go to indexes, go click on this plus item. Let's see. Okay, our record is still not present, so we'll have to add an item. So I'll just click on this plus button. Like I'm on a simulator, that's why it is taking a little bit delay. I'll just add the item name as first. I'll click on add, and again it will throw an error saying that okay, here you can yeah, it has thrown an error. Now again I'll just go over here, I'll refresh my CLOUDKit database again, and yeah, now it is showing here, see. So I'll just go to indexes, I'll click on plus, I'll go, I think it has already added that. Yeah, it already added it for me. So the field name was to do title, right? In case if it is not added for you, I'll just delete this and I'll show it to you again. I'll just delete this. If it is already added for you, don't delete it. So you just have to click on plus. Inside record type, you will see grocery item or whatever your database name is. Select type as queryable, and here field you can select what was our field, to do title. Now here you can give name. I will just give the same name just for my own understanding. Now you can either refresh your app, you just have to do this one time. Now you can either refresh your app, or I'll just try to add one more item. I think this now should work. It should display both the items for me. Okay, it is still saying elements field record name is not marked queryable. Okay, so record name is a field which is by default present. I have not created it, so we will do that the same. So again I'll go to grocery item and queryable, and again this record name field was not created by me, it is by default present. So I'll just make that also as queryable, like it is saying. I'll click on add. Okay, then I'll again go back to my simulator. I'll try to do pull to refresh. Okay, it is taking a lot of time. I will just delete my console logs as well. Okay, let me try to add one more item, third. I think this might have failed and I didn't stop this refreshing. Okay, so maybe what you can do is one thing which I missed, you can just inside failure as well, you can do this, something like this. You don't need to reload the table view, but you can at least do end refreshing as well in case if there is any failure. So here you can see I'm able to see all the items. Now if I want, I will just add one more item, fourth, just for the sake of it, like in case this might sync properly or might not. So here you can see I didn't have to do pull to refresh, it did sync properly. But because I have also added an artificial delay, which I told you, right? If I want to delete, I can delete it as well. So here you can see it was deleted. If I want to update the first to I don't know, fifth, I guess, I'll click on save. Now if you have another device, you can install this app on the other device as well. Make sure you use a different Apple ID. You don't have to, but if you have a different Apple ID, you can use that, and these all items will be visible in that particular device as well. Given that this is a public database, if you don't want to make it available, like I told you, you can make it as private. Now if you want to see all the items, again you will only be able to see, even though this is a public database, you will not be able to see items which have been added by other users as far as I know. So if you go to records, because it didn't really work for me, you can go to record type, grocery item, just click on query records, and here you can see it has displaying all the items which I have added. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.